right, and you can start whenever.
Okay. This is my presentation on children's mental health due to separations. To start off, I would like to read a piece of evidence from Stimulus Material 2 stating that social connections is a significant predictor of longevity and better physical, cognitive, and mental health, while social isolation and loneliness are significant predictors of premature death and poor health. This piece of evidence is talking about the difference between social connection or the lack of and how it affects someone's overall health. And due to ICE immigration and deportation policy, studies show that when a child is separated from their family, they are known to go through worsening mental health status, physical status, and academic consequences as well. This leads me to my research question, which is to what extent do family separations due to ICE deportations affect the overall health of children separated from their main provider? When children are separated from their parents, the lack of backbone that the parent provides for the child often leads to many implications that affect the child in a negative way. This leads me to my main claim, which is separation of families due to ICE deportations negatively affect the child's overall health by disrupting critical neurodevelopment, creates socioeconomic instability and food insecurity, and increases the risk of psychiatric disorders like anxiety and depression. And why this issue matters is because deportation-related separations can permanently affect the child's brain development, physical health, and mental health, which can lead to lifelong consequences, and that can affect their overall well-being. And it can create lasting poverty and food insecurity, which can make kids ill, develop anxiety, depression, and other psychiatric problems like trauma, turning an immigration issue into a public health and social justice problem. To start off, I would like to define the term toxic stress, which is defined as the body's strong, prolonged, or frequent stress response, and without support from a parent, it can seriously disrupt a child's brain development. From key health implications of separation of families at the border in 2018, it states that, as noted by the American Academy of Pediatrics, exposing children to traumatic events or prolonged toxic stress such as separation from a parent disrupts a healthy development and can lead to physiological changes that can result in short-term and long-term negative effects on the physical, mental, and behavioral health. The stress that young children that are separated from their families feel or endure is extremely dangerous, and it can lead to multiple physiologically negative effects. Negative effects discussed by the American Journal of Physiology, Endocrinology, and Metabolism in 2006 states that extreme toxic stress can lead to enlarged adrenal glands, which is due to the increased corticosteroids released from the brain, and signaling the adrenal glands to release adrenaline and noradrenaline. Frequent stomach ulcers due to the hormonal imbalance of the stress. Loss of weight and the shrinkage of the thymus and lymph glands, which are for the immune system, and those being affected can have very bad negative effects on the child's immune system. Which leads me to my next claim, which is that it can increase the risk of psychiatric disorders. Evidence from National Institute of Health's Deported Men and Fathers Perspective states that children under the age of 18 remaining in the U.S. experience mental health symptoms post-separation, i.e. persistent crying, depression, sadness, anger, and resentment. This finding shows that when a parent is deported, the children often develop serious lasting emotional symptoms. This disrupts their sense of safety and attachment, which are foundations of healthy brain development and emotional regulation, and they can also struggle with creating lasting relationships in the future and often need more intensive mental health care. Another piece of evidence from a National Institute of Health's case, the impact of deportation-related family separations, states that family separation due to immigration enforcement has had negative effects on child and youth well-being, specifically mental health, psychosocial, and academic outcomes. And this piece of evidence, due to ICE sharply increasing risk of psychiatric disorders like anxiety and depression by shattering their emotional security and daily stability. Another piece of evidence from effects of deportation or separation extend beyond individuals and families. It's often known that kids experience anger, aggression, withdrawal, and a heightened sense of fear, eating and sleeping disturbances, isolation, trauma, and depression. And this evidence shows how deport-induced separations trigger severe psychiatric symptoms in kids that can often lead to anxiety, depression, heightened sense of fear, eating and sleeping problems, which can affect their overall health. And my last claim is that it can create socioeconomic instability and food insecurity, and evidence from what will deportations mean for the child's welfare system. Households continue to experience food insecurity 6 months after the detention of a family member. More than 80% of families ran out of food and could not afford to get more, as well as 28.3% of households experienced hunger and could not afford to eat. This graphic shows what I have just stated. It means that when a family member is detained, the loss of income is rapidly destabilizes the household, leaving families unstable to buy food and often leading many children and families into starvation. Another piece of evidence from Immigration Enforcement and Public Safety states that regardless of legal status, children of undocumented immigrants experience food insecurity at significantly higher rates than children of U.S. citizens. A 2023 study found that the likelihood of food insecurity was 28% higher than non-citizens compared to U.S. born citizens. And the statistic shows that immigration status itself, tied to economic hardship, can leave children of undocumented immigrants much more likely to grow up in a household where there is not enough food. And because adequate nutrition is super essential for children's healthy growth, learning, and emotional regulation, this increase of food insecurity can put these children at a greater risk for health problems, developmental delays, and mental health risks. But there are some arguments stating that from the White House, it says that by prioritizing enforcement and accountability, the administration is restoring integrity to the immigration system and ensuring that the law is applied consistently. It states that while enforcing immigration law is a government duty, the resulting toxic stress on children, including PTSD, developmental regression, and developmental and economic hardship, is known to create long-term public health and societal costs that I believe outweigh the enforcement goal. So what? ICE deportations are proven to shatter families, proven to disrupt children's neurodevelopment, causing food insecurity, economic chaos, and spike risks for anxiety, depression, PTSD, and trauma, turning enforcement into a public health crisis for kids. Policymakers must reform ICE tactics to prioritize family unity. Communities need rapid aid funds for affected families. We need to act now. Kids' lifelong health and futures are at stake, demanding urgent protection over deportation. Is that over the time?
No.
Okay.
All right, you ready for oral defense?
Yeah.
Okay, question 1. How did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process?
Well, I was first trying to research how it would affect overall families, and I realized that even though families are getting affected, there are children that are the future of the U.S. that are getting much more affected just because of the separation of a family member, and it leads to so many different issues that I feel need to be discussed more than adults, because while it does affect adults, the children that are left here without anyone to take care of them, I feel is more important.
Okay, thank you. Question 2. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why might they be important?
An additional question that I found while I was researching is how it affects families' ability to access healthcare. So some families, when they are scared of getting deported and getting separated, often try to avoid healthcare, which can lead children down a very bad path if they're trying to deal with something that's physiologically wrong with them, and their parents don't want to take them to the doctor because of the separation. That problem always evolves, and it makes the problem so much worse. And I felt I was like, wow, that's really confusing, because it's healthcare. It's supposed to be for everyone. It's not supposed to scare anyone from getting proper treatment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're all done. Feel good?
It's just out, yeah. I was done.
Then go home, take a nap.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You don't understand. Oh my god, I think my room's done today, so.
Really?
Because the thing is, half of my closet is in my mom's room, and half of my closet's on my bed covered in plastic. So now I need to go home and take care of that. But after that, I'm gonna go sleep.
Maybe you just lay on top of the plastic, take a little short nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay anywhere. I'll go in my basement. I will go in my basement. I don't even care anymore. I'm so tired.
Do you and your sister share a room?
No. Thank God we don't share a room. We used to share a room and a bed, and oh my gosh.
Oh, that's rough.
She is so annoying. I can't. Oh my, I love her, but She's not the best roommate. I will never share a bed with her ever again.
That's so funny.
Like on vacation and stuff, like a lot of kicking that happens, like it's ridiculous. Do you want me to stop the video?
Oh yes.